everyone, my name is Jen, and if you are someone who has recently discovered human design and that you are a projector in human design, I am here to cover just the very basics on that subject. So you put in your information essentially, and you see your body graph, and you see all of these geometrical shapes, you see all of these lines. Some are shaded in, some are not. You see the keynotes that says that you're a projector, your profile. You see the incarnation cross. You see your strategy, which is wait for the invitation. The not self, which is bitterness. And you're probably wondering what all of that means. So in human design, there are 5 energy types. There is the manifestors, the manifesting generators, the projectors, and the reflectors. I am personally a projector in human design. So I'm just going to guide you through me learning about human design and how it has validated so many aspects of my life, and the proactive steps I am taking into living in alignment. So you look at the body graph essentially, and you see all of these geometrical shapes, and you see lines. Some are shaded in, some are not. What makes that a projector besides reading the keynotes, obviously? So a projector has no sacral definition at all. So the sacral center is open or otherwise undefined. It's completely white, and there is no clear motor towards the throat. So what essentially that means is that because our sacral center is not defined, we don't have constant life force energy. So basically, we do have energy. Don't get me wrong now. We do have energy, but it just ebbs and flows. So we don't have, like, for example, we don't have the energy to, continuously work, because we will burn out. And when we burn out, it can take us quite a few days, depending, for us to replenish ourselves, or even longer, to be perfectly honest, depending. So projectors are not really meant here to work and do so much, because we tend to burn out. Projectors are essentially here to be the guides of this planet. We are here to be the guides for the other energy types and how they can best use their energy. In shorter terms, we are just here to bring improvement and efficiency. And we know how to do that because that is our aura. Our projector aura is so penetrating and so out there that we can best see how something can be done, which leads us to give, lots of unsolicited advice where we might not even be recognized for it if we're not invited to share our wisdom and our knowledge. So I discovered human design. I learned that I'm a projector, and getting into it, going down that rabbit hole, it just validated so much of my life. And for a brief moment in my life, when I was very, very young, I did feel validated for a time, because at that time, when I was about 4 or 5 years old, I lived in Puerto Rico from ever since I was 3 years old until I was 7 years old. And during that time, I had some cousins on the island and lived amongst my family. And I had a cousin who recognized me for my creativity. She would always ask my opinion on how I can how I can help her basically do something creative, whether it was making bows, making some arts and crafts project. She always wanted my opinion. And so as a child, I felt very validated, very seen. But after I left the island and came back to the States with my family, that's where a lot of the conditioning that projectors came into place. Being a daughter of immigrants, immigrants, they get the job done. And that essentially is my parents. They have that, defined sacral where they can just work. And so being the firstborn, the older daughter, it can be a lot of pressure. Surface pressure, Louisa, totally relate to that song. So being the older daughter, I had so much pressure to do so many things. And and to do and constantly do and go out there and get what I needed to do done. And essentially, projectors don't really have the sustainable energy to keep on going. So for the longest of time, I was just conditioned to constantly do and go out there and just do. And being a very introverted child, I was very shy. I was very shy to ask for help. I was very shy to, put myself out there like that, because I just wasn't that extroverted kid like my sister was. So when it came to family gatherings, and when it came to, other family members asking for advice, I remember as a child, I could always see, and I could always, in my mind, see how something could best be done. And when I would voice that, it just came on completely deaf ears. It wasn't even recognized. Like, I just stepped in there. I said what I had to say when they were asking, like, the whole room for advice. And me being a child, well, who's really going to listen, I guess, to a child? But in my mind, I was like, how do you not understand that this is common sense? How do you not understand that this is common sense and how you can better do this? And, that was the pattern, that was the theme, going into my teenage years. And, amongst everyone, group of friends, family members, whatever, I could always see how something could best be done. But sometimes I kept it to myself because, no one barely listened. And when they did, they ignored it completely. And it just made me, that's where the not self of the projector stops coming in, like that bitterness, like, why can't people see that this is common sense? Like that was me in my mind. Like, how can you not see that this is common sense? To me, as a kid, as a teenager, I'm like, this is common sense. And I was wondering, like, why can't you see it? That was basically me. I'm like, how can you not see that this is common sense? Like, taking, like, hey, if you do it this way, it's better. And that's the thing about being a projector. And then, going through the school system and high school, which was rough, and then graduating high school and going into college, the workforce, I had to take some time off before I could even go into the workforce and just, replenish all of that energy, of all that deconditioning, all of the toxicity, really. And going into the workforce, I got a full-time job. And with that full-time job, I was very excited, but very quickly I learned that I became very tired. And essentially I was being overworked, underpaid, not appreciated, not even heard or seen, because I could also see where something could best be done in the workplace, and for it not to, and for my managers not to even recognize or even ignore my advice. It was just like, well, come on now. Like, and that's how many projectors feel. Like, they feel that they are not seen. They feel like they are not even worthy sometimes. And that's what led me essentially to burn out and become very, very bitter, because that is the not self of the projector, to become bitter. And even though I didn't voice out my bitterness, I kept it very internally, which made me a very negative person. And I became so negative. I was so overworked. I was literally working 12-hour days almost every day. And sometimes I would even on my days off, I would pick up a shift from another coworker because they called off, and I was the first person who they called because, hey, I didn't know any boundaries in my early 20s. So that was so overworked, to the point where I developed an autoimmune disorder. And that autoimmune disorder depleted me even more. It burned me out even more. When a projector is burned out and they're still working, it can be so very painful. And with the autoimmune disorder that I have, which is, by the way, ulcerative colitis, it was just horrible. Like, you feel the pain very, very internally, and it's very painful. Like, you like, there's, like, outside you see that nothing is wrong, but internally it's a mess. It's really a mess. So essentially, and I was pregnant during the same time too. It's a lot that it just depletes you so much. So projectors, my advice for you honestly is rest. Now I do have a job right now. I also have a business on the side, and I'm more excited about my business on the side because I'm excited about it. It's something that brings me joy. My part-time, like all jobs, honestly, it pays the bills, And when I had my full-time job, it also paid the bills. And I think that's something that projectors just get wrapped up into because it's what society tells us to do. We have to work, work, work because we have to sustain ourselves somehow. We have to pay bills. We have to do so many things because we are in a world that's led by generators, and generators have this energy to keep going and keep going, and we do not have that energy. We have to rest and replenish ourselves and then go out there and do whatever it is that we have to do, whether it's go to work, whatever makes you excited, projectors, please do it. So I have learned through human design that all of those times I was giving unsolicited advice, whether to my friend group, to my family, it just came on deaf ears because I was not being recognized. I was not being invited to share my wisdom and my knowledge. And therefore, I felt so unseen and sometimes even so very unworthy of myself. And, that leads to the bitterness. So in discovering human design, I've learned that, okay, obviously our strategy, wait to be invited, but you just don't, I think projectors think like you hear that and you're like, so I have to wait and what do I do? So some of the things that I have been working on and that have helped me so much in becoming better in alignment, where I get opportunities and I'm being recognized because I am doing certain things. So first thing is first, projectors. Since now I do have a part-time job, so I knew through my human design that I could not do full-time because I knew that I was going to burn out. So I picked what days I wanted to come into work, what hours I wanted to come in, because I have it spaced out to the fact where I can work, rest, rest. Okay? And in those rest days, I'm either, doing something that I love that, brings me so much excitement, like the business that I have on the side. So one thing for projectors, rest, okay? I take an hour and a half nap almost every day. And I also have projector children. Both of my kids are projectors. And I know that they're going to nap, and that's okay. Let them nap. If you have projector children, please don't tell them that they're lazy, that they're not doing enough, because that's how I was also raised. I was raised to think that I was lazy, that I was not doing enough, that I wasn't doing, and other kids were. And it's like, well, you have to recognize now that not everyone has that same energy. And projectors can be so misunderstood because we can be called lazy. We can be called so many different things because we're not up to reach with the other energy types, essentially generators. So let your projector kids, you yourself as a projector, rest, take a nap. It's completely fine and it's perfectly normal, to be honest with you. All of this hustle culture does not work for projectors. It does not work because, like I said, we will burn out. So rest, take a nap, take an hour nap, whatever it is. Every time I wake up from my nap, I feel so much more energized and ready to do whatever it is that I have to do. Then if I would have not taken a nap, I would just, start getting tired over time and just not be efficient in what I had to do. So rest, projectors. You have to rest. Also, projectors, it's very important, and when we are waiting for that invitation, to master your skills. Whatever it is that you do, whatever it is that brings you excitement, that fascinates you, whatever brings you something that you love, really, master whatever it is that you love and that brings you excitement. Like whether it's be making YouTube channels, your business, drawing, acting, graphic design, makeup, whatever it is, keep working on those skills. But most importantly, before you receive that invitation, because it's very important, recognize yourself, projectors. Recognize that you are good at what you do. Recognize that you are the master of what you do. And if you're not, keep working on your skills. Keep improving on your skills, because essentially someone out there will recognize you and give you an invitation to the next level that you've been waiting for. You know, so courageously put yourself out there. You know, do those workout videos, do that YouTube channel, do your makeup, put it on Instagram, do whatever. Courageously put yourself out there. Someone will recognize you and invite you to do something, you know, and that is an invitation that you can either decline or accept. You know, it's up to you. Not all invitations that projectors receive are meant to be accepted by us. We choose whether we accept an invitation or we don't. So you have the choice. But most importantly, also put yourself out there. Do whatever it is that fascinates you. You know, we can absolutely master anything that gets us excited, that fascinates us. And when we work on it, when we master that certain skill, the universe rewards us with success, because projectors are meant to be successful. Now, success can look like so many different things, but whether it's being invited to a certain event, showing off your skill sets or your project to certain people, that is success in some way, shape, or form. So my advice for projectors essentially are those: rest, take your time, do not rush the process. You will be ready when you are ready. Just keep sharpening those skills. Courageously put yourself out there, you know, and first will reward you with what we are meant with: success. So projectors, I hope that you enjoyed that video. It was just covering the very basics and also the basics of me discovering I'm a projector and what essentially my life looked like. I will be doing more videos when it comes to projectors and the other energy types later on. I will also be doing the profiles, the centers, and so on. So hopefully if you like this video, subscribe, hit the like button, and I will see you guys later.